Hello. Since layer 2 scanning solutions are getting hot, we've identified the hottest solution and started a new series, in which we will show you how to implement scalable solutions over Ethereum network, using many popular solutions like zk-sync from Matter Labs and others. But today we are focusing on Starknet network, since we identified it as the best one to start with, the hottest, and it's also backed by the Ethereum Foundation with a $12 million grant, so it sounds like a good thing to start with. So here we are in Remix, and as you can see, we are dealing with a different language. It's Cairo, not Solidity, but it looks a bit similar to Solidity we are used to. And you can see that we say what language we'll use, we declare imports, though it looks a bit different, it works a bit different in comparison to Solidity. We have storage variables, so here we store all of the stuff that we need to keep in storage. So here we have balance, but you can see that it's a bit strange because we have function, and in this function we store the res felt, and felt is a data type that's hard to compare to any other languages, but it's like kind of like any type. And you can see that we have those modifiers. It's a bit similar to external in Solidity. We also have the view modifier, so it won't be that hard to learn. And we also have functions with regular arguments, but also with some arguments that are default, and we have them in most of the functions. We have the function block code, and we also have the result. Depends whether our functions need to return anything. In this case we return nothing, so we return the empty result, but in this case we return the felt result, and it's returned here. So we say that we want to return the res name with this variable, so the variable of our balance storage variable. And we use the read function to read the storage variable. So this contract is very simple. How it works is it lets us add some balance to the storage variable and read it, and that's about it. So we can compile it and test it.
So now the code is ready, but what to do next? Well, Remix allows to use special plugin called Starknet, and to do that we can go to the extensions and just type Starknet to find it and to activate. So let's do that. Why we do this? Because we want to deploy our contract. So same as the Solidity compile. We'll be using girly for that because the Starknet allows girly for that, and let's deploy the contract. Okay, it's our contract. We can go strictly to Voyager. Let's go there, and we got the transactions. For now there is no transaction. The messages, events, code. We can read the contract with the functions inside and write in the functions. So it's similar to Etherscan, if you're familiar with. So after a while we are back and the contract is already deployed. We had to wait a little. So now we can enter the functions. So let's check the read contract, because we want to check the balance first. If it's 0, we are already connected to ArgentX, as you can see. It's very similar tool to MetaMask. It just connects to Starknet API. So we use it instead of MetaMask to deploy contracts, to connect with contracts functions. The cool thing is that soon the Starknet will support MetaMask, so that's the great news for blockchain enjoyers. Okay, so let's try to call function getBalance. Okay, so as you can see, it's 0. So let's try to add some value to the balance. It's the right contract, we'll increase it. Randomized value, and you can see that's the pop-up similar to the MetaMask, but now we are using ArgentX. And here's the transaction hash, very similar to the Ethereum. So again, we will have to wait a little for the transaction to go through.
Okay, as you can see, after a few minutes the transaction finally went through. You have to be patient here because it takes a lot of time to process all of those transactions. If you have no money on the Starknet Girl network, we will leave a link in the description to the faucet so that you can send funds to your wallet. As you can see, the result is very similar to Etherscan, so we have all of those pieces of information, and also the data section where you can use the ArgentX conversion to see the proper names. So all the info we need is here. So at this point we can go back to our contract and go to read contract and see if the getBalance function returns 100. And it does, so we have accomplished what we wanted here.
So for today's video, that would be all. We got in plans to make more difficult contracts based on Starknet to show you how it works exactly. But if you want to check that, follow us, leave like, subscribe, and wait for the next video. Thank you so much. See you soon.